Have you ever experienced this? Someone asks you a simple question in English, and you know the answer. You understand the meaning. You even know the words you want to say. But suddenly, your brain freezes. You start searching for the perfect sentence. You translate your thoughts from your native language into English. You check your grammar. You worry about making mistakes. And by the time you are ready to speak, the moment is already gone. If this happens to you, you are not alone. Millions of English learners around the world face the same problem. They spend years studying vocabulary, memorizing grammar rules, watching English videos, and practicing exercises. But when it is time to actually speak, their mind becomes slow. The reason is simple. They are not thinking directly in English. They are translating. And translation creates a mental barrier between your thoughts and your words. In this video, you will discover why your brain keeps translating, how fluent speakers think differently, and the practical methods you can use to train your mind to think in English naturally. Because fluency is not just about knowing more words. Fluency is about accessing the words you already know, quickly and automatically. Think about your native language. When you see a glass of water, do you first think in your native language, then translate it? Of course not. You simply see the object, and the idea appears in your mind. You don't say, "This is a glass, now let me translate the word for glass." Your brain has created a direct connection between the object and the meaning. That is exactly what happens with fluent English speakers. When they see something, they don't search through another language first. They directly connect the idea with English words. A child learning their first language does not translate. A child sees a dog. Someone says dog. The child connects the sound with the animal. After hearing it many times, the word becomes automatic. The child does not think, "First, I need to understand this concept in another language." They build a direct mental pathway. As adults learning English, we often create a different habit. We learn English through our first language. We see a word. We memorize its meaning. We create a connection like this. Native language right arrow English word. For example, you learn the English word beautiful. You think, "My language word for beautiful is this, so beautiful means that." This method helps beginners. It is useful when building basic vocabulary. But if you continue this process forever, your speaking speed will always feel limited. Because every sentence has to travel through an extra step. Your brain has to do more work. Imagine you are driving to a destination. One road takes you directly there. Another road takes you through a long, unnecessary route. Which one will be faster? The direct road. Thinking in English is like creating a direct road between your thoughts and English words. Now you might be wondering, is it really possible to stop translating? The answer is yes. But it does not happen by simply telling yourself, "From tomorrow, I will think in English." Your brain does not change through motivation alone. It changes through training. You need to create new habits. You need to repeatedly expose your brain to English in a way that builds automatic connections. Many learners make one big mistake. They wait until they become advanced before they start thinking in English. They believe, "When my vocabulary improves, then I will think in English." But the opposite is true. Thinking in English is the process that improves your vocabulary, speaking speed, and confidence. You start small. You don't need to think about complicated topics. You don't need to create perfect sentences in your mind. You begin with simple thoughts. For example, when you wake up in the morning, instead of thinking in your native language, "I need to get up," Try creating the English thought. I need to get up. When you walk outside, describe what you see. The sky is cloudy. The road is busy. That person is walking quickly. My phone battery is low. These thoughts are simple, but they are powerful because you are teaching your brain one important skill: connecting your real life directly with English. This is how fluent speakers develop their language ability. They don't only study English. They live through English. They create thousands of small English thoughts every day. And those small thoughts slowly build automatic speaking ability. Another important reason people translate is fear. They are afraid of making mistakes. They think, what if my sentence is wrong? What if someone laughs? What if my pronunciation is not perfect? This fear forces the brain to slow down. You start editing every sentence before speaking. But fluent speakers do not create perfect sentences first. They create communication first. Think about a child learning to walk. A child falls many times, but they don't stop walking forever because of mistakes. Language works the same way. Mistakes are not proof that you are bad at English. Mistakes are proof that your brain is practicing. The goal is not perfection. The goal is progress. Every time you try to express an idea directly in English, you strengthen your English thinking ability. Every time you avoid translation, you become faster. Every time you accept small mistakes, you become more confident. Now, let's understand something important about the brain. Your brain is designed to save energy. It loves familiar patterns. If you always translate, your brain will continue choosing translation because it feels comfortable. Your brain says, this is the way we have always done it. To change this pattern, you need repetition. You need to create a new automatic system. Just like exercising a muscle. The first day at the gym feels difficult. Your body is not used to the movement. But after weeks of practice, the same exercise becomes easier. Thinking in English works exactly the same way. At first, it feels uncomfortable. You may feel slow. You may search for words. You may make many mistakes. But with consistent practice, your brain starts creating faster connections. And one day, something amazing happens. You suddenly realize, I am thinking in English without trying. That is the moment every language learner wants. And it is completely achievable. In the next part, we will explore the exact daily exercises that train your brain to think in English faster, including a powerful technique used by many advanced language learners to build natural fluency. Now that we understand why translation slows down your English, let's talk about the most important question. How do you actually train your brain to think in English naturally? The answer is not complicated. You don't need expensive courses. You don't need to memorize thousands of grammar rules. You need consistent practice that changes the way your brain processes English. Let's begin with the first technique. Technique 1. Start with simple English thoughts. Many learners make a common mistake. They try to think about complicated topics immediately. They want to think, what are the advantages and disadvantages of artificial intelligence in modern society? That is too difficult in the beginning. Your brain will immediately return to your native language because the idea is too complex. Instead, start with your daily life. Your brain already knows these situations. For example, when you are making tea, think, I am making tea, water is hot, need a cup, the tea smells good. When you are getting dressed, this shirt is comfortable, I need to find my shoes. I will go outside. When you are working, I have a lot of work today, I need to finish this task. I will take a short break. These sentences may look extremely simple, but remember something important. Simple English thoughts repeated every day create automatic English thinking. Fluency is built from thousands of small moments, not from one big study session. Technique 2. Stop learning words alone. One of the biggest reasons people translate is because they memorize individual words. They learn. Decision equals meaning in my language. Equals meaning in my language. Equals meaning in my language. Real communication does not happen with isolated words. Your brain remembers patterns. Native speakers do not store every word separately. They remember groups of words and common expressions. For example, instead of learning only the word decision, learn, make a decision. It's a difficult decision. I need time to make a decision. Now your brain creates a complete connection. When you need that idea, you don't search for one word. The entire phrase appears naturally. This is how fluent speakers communicate quickly. They have thousands of ready-made language patterns stored in their minds. Technique 3. Use the picture method. One powerful way to stop translating is to connect English with images. Instead of learning like this, English word right arrow native language meaning. Try this, English word right arrow image right arrow meaning. For example, when learning the word apple, don't immediately think about the translation. Imagine an apple, see its color, imagine its taste, feel its shape. Then connect the English sound, apple. Your brain begins creating a direct connection. This method is similar to how children learn. They don't translate every object, they experience the world and connect sounds with meanings. You can use this technique with almost everything. For the word rain, imagine rain falling from the sky. For the word angry, imagine someone with an angry expression. For the word excited, imagine a person celebrating good news. The stronger the mental image, the stronger the connection. Technique 4. Talk to yourself in English. This may sound strange at first, but it is one of the most effective exercises for developing English thinking. Every day, spend a few minutes talking to yourself in English. You don't need another person. You don't need a perfect environment. Just describe your thoughts. For example, I am sitting in my room. I am watching a video. I need to practice English today. I feel tired, but I will continue. This exercise removes pressure. When speaking with others, many learners become nervous because they worry about judgment. But when you talk to yourself, you can practice freely. You can experiment, you can make mistakes. And slowly, English becomes more natural. Many successful language learners use this technique because it creates a habit of producing English without translation. Technique 5. Change your phone and digital environment. Your environment influences your thinking. If everything around you is in your native language, your brain naturally stays in that language. Try changing small things. Change your phone language to English. Follow English creators, watch videos in English, read English comments, search online in English. The goal is not to completely remove your native language. Your native language is valuable. The goal is to give your brain more opportunities to interact with English. Your brain learns from repetition. The more English it sees and hears, the more familiar it becomes. Technique 6. Use the shadowing method. One of the best ways to develop natural English rhythm is shadowing. Shadowing means listening to a native English speaker and repeating what they say immediately. Not after 10 seconds, not after translating, immediately. For example, you hear, I'm going to the store. You repeat, I'm going to the store. You copy the pronunciation, you copy the speed, you copy the emotion. This trains your brain to process English in real time. Many learners understand English but cannot respond quickly. Why? Because their brain is used to receiving English, not producing English. Shadowing creates a bridge between listening and speaking. It teaches your brain. When I hear English, I can respond in English. Technique 7. Think in English during routine activities. You already have many automatic activities every day: walking, eating, cooking, traveling, cleaning, waiting. Use these moments instead of allowing your mind to completely wander. Add English thinking while walking. I am walking to the market. The weather is nice today. Are many people on the street? Eating. This food tastes delicious. It is spicy. I like this flavor. Traveling, the bus is crowded. Traffic is heavy. I will arrive in 20 minutes. These moments are like free English practice sessions. You are training your brain without needing extra time. And this is the secret. Fluency is not created by studying English for 1 hour and forgetting it for the rest of the day. Fluency is created by bringing English into your daily life. Small practice, repeated often, creates big results. But there is still one major problem that stops many learners from thinking in English. They are afraid to make mistakes inside their own mind. They believe every thought must be grammatically perfect. In the next part, we will talk about how to remove this mental block, how to train your brain like a fluent speaker, and a simple 30-day challenge that can completely change your English thinking ability. Now, let's bring everything together. You know why translation slows you down. You know why thinking directly in English is important. And you know the techniques that can train your brain. But knowledge alone does not create fluency. Action creates fluency. So, let's create a simple daily routine that you can follow to build the habit of thinking in English naturally. This routine does not require 5 hours of study. It does not require expensive courses. It only requires consistency. The 30-minute daily English thinking routine. The first 10 minutes, English observation practice. Look at your surroundings and describe what you see. If you are in your room, think, the wall is white. Is a table near my bed? My phone is on the desk. The window is open. If you are outside, the street is crowded. The weather is warm. People are walking quickly. This exercise trains your brain to connect real life with English. You are no longer learning English as a separate subject. You are making English part of your experience. The next 10 minutes, English listening and shadowing. Choose a short English video, podcast, or interview. Listen carefully. Repeat the speaker's sentences. Copy their pronunciation. Copy their rhythm. Copy their emotions. Don't worry if you cannot imitate everything perfectly. The goal is not acting like a native speaker. The goal is teaching your brain how English sounds and flows. The final 10 minutes, free thinking practice. Sit quietly and think in English. Talk about your day, talk about your goals, talk about something you learned. For example, today I learned something new about English. I want to improve my speaking skills. I believe consistency is more important than motivation. First, your thoughts may be slow. That is okay. Speed comes from repetition. The power of English input. There is another important part of thinking in English. You need enough English entering your brain. You cannot create natural English thoughts if your brain rarely hears natural English. This is why input matters. Listen to conversation, watch interviews, read stories, follow English content that interests you. But don't just consume passively. Interact with the language, pause videos, repeat sentences, predict what someone will say next. Ask yourself, how would I say this? This turns passive learning into active learning. Replace translation with association. Let's imagine you learn the word freedom. A beginner may think, freedom means this word in my language. A stronger connection is freedom, right arrow, traveling, right arrow, choosing your own path, feeling independent. The word becomes connected to ideas and emotions. This is how language becomes alive. Words are not just information. Words represent experiences. The more experiences you connect with English, the more naturally your brain will use it. Think like a fluent speaker. Fluent speakers are not constantly thinking about grammar rules. They are focused on meaning. When someone asks, "What did you do yesterday?" A fluent speaker does not, "Tense should I use? Is my sentence structure correct?" They simply remember the experience. I watched a movie. I went shopping. I met my friend. The grammar happens naturally because they have practiced those patterns many times. Your goal is to create the same automatic response. The biggest mistake to avoid: do not compare your English thinking speed with someone who has been using English for years. Every fluent speaker was once a beginner. Every confident speaker once struggled to find words. The difference is not that they never had difficulty. The difference is that they continued practicing. Language learning is a process. You are building a skill, not memorizing information. A person does not become a great musician by reading about music. They practice. A person does not become a great athlete by watching exercise videos. They train. And a person does not become fluent by only studying English. They use English. Your mind follows your habits. If you spend every day translating, your brain becomes a translation machine. If you spend every day thinking in English, your brain becomes an English thinking machine. Your daily habits decide your future ability. Even 5 minutes of English thinking every day can create change. Because small actions repeated consistently create powerful results. Final message: so, the next time you catch yourself translating, don't feel frustrated. Don't think, "My English is bad." See it as a signal. Your brain is learning a new pathway. Every time you choose English first, you are strengthening that pathway. Every simple sentence you create is progress. Every mistake is practice. Every conversation is training. Remember, fluency does not happen when you know every English word. Fluency happens when your brain stops searching and starts responding. The goal is not to think in your native language and convert it into English. The goal is to build a direct connection between your thoughts and English. Start small, think simple, practice daily. And slowly, English will stop feeling like a foreign language. It will start feeling like your own voice. If this video helped you, remember that becoming fluent is not about being perfect. It is about showing up every day and improving one small step at a time. Keep practicing, keep thinking. And one day you will wake up and realize something incredible. You are no longer learning English. You are living in English.